Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon and never miss another update from Almighty Java.
In this video, we will see what is FormsModule and how to use ngForms. Let's start the node server using ngserve. Compiled successfully. Let's open the application in the browser. See, it's working. Till the last video, we have implemented routing related changes. So if you have not watched the previous video, then watch it. The link is in description. Let's create one model class for the book using Angular CLI. Open this folder in terminal. So here is the command like ngGenerate class book. See, book model class created successfully. Let's open book TypeScript file. Now let's add all the fields which are related to the book. I am adding ID also, so it will help me when I will add edit functionality. For this time I am keeping all string. Later we will change it to the proper data type. Now to inject these value we need to add constructor also. See, if you are a Java developer, then coding style is similar to Java. That's it for this class. So this class nothing but a DAO class. Now let's open book component file. So here if you observe there are two things like constructor and ngOnInit. So constructor is class property and ngOnInit is a method which came from OnInit interface. So now the question is why two? What is the use of both? So here is the simple explanation. About constructor, you knew very well what is the use. But for ngOnInit let's open the Angular website. It's a part of the Angular core package. OnInit is an interface. A lifecycle hook that is called after Angular has initialized all data-bound properties of a directive. Define a ngOnInit method to handle any additional initialization tasks. Here is the OnInit interface implementation. There are many classes which implement OnInit interface. Here is the list. OnInit have only one method called ngOnInit. A callback method that is invoked immediately after the default change detector has checked the directive's data-bound properties for the first time, and before any of the view or content children have been checked. It is invoked only once when the directive is instantiated. ngOnInit there are no parameters and return void. Usage note. The following snippet shows how a component can implement this interface to define its initialization method. Here is the example. So like this we can implement in our class. In the last video when we created book component it came by default. Now let's declare book variable. We need to import this. Now in ngOnInit let's create an object of book class using parameterized constructor and pass default values. So in ngOnInit explanation it is invoked only once when the directive is instantiated. That's it for this class. Now let's open app module. Let's import FormsModule. And it's part of the Angular Forms package. Now we need to add this FormsModule in the imports array. That's it for this class. But before going further let's see what is FormsModule. It's a part of the Angular Forms package. It's an NgModule. Exports the required providers and directives for template-driven forms, making them available for import by NgModules that import this module. Here is the class detail of FormsModule. Static methods, so only one static method with config. Provides options for configuring the template-driven forms module. Parameters, ops, object. An object of configuration options. Warn on deprecated ngForm selector. Configures when to emit a warning when the deprecated ngForm selector is used. Returns. Module with providers. Providers. Radio control registry. Directives. There are many. You can refer this page to learn about them. Now let's open book component HTML. First, let's add ID for all the input element. Now let's add ng from ngForm element. Template variable references. Here's the syntax. So ngForm tag we have to use this way. Here's the description. As soon as you import the Forms module, this directive becomes active by default on all form tags. You don't need to add a special selector. You optionally export the directive into a local template variable using ngForm as the key. This is optional but useful. Many properties from the underlying form group instance are duplicated on the directive itself, so a reference to it gives you access to the aggregate value and validity status of the form, as well as user interaction properties like dirty and touched. To register child controls with the form, use ngModule with a name attribute. You may use ngModule group to create subgroups within the form. If necessary, listen to the directives ngSubmit event to be notified when the user has triggered a form submission. The ngSubmit event emits the original form submission event. In template-driven forms, all form tags are automatically tagged as ngForm. To import the Forms module but skip its usage in some forms, for example, to use native HTML5 validation, add the ngNoForm and the form tags won't create an ngForm directive. In reactive forms, using ngNoForm is unnecessary because the form tags are inert. In that case, you would refrain from using the form group directive. As you can see, there are many things are available those you can explore. Now I hope you got it. Now let's add. So here let's say book form. See, we are also using similar syntax. Like in the description they said to register child controls with the form. Use ngModule with a name attribute. Now let's add ngModule for an input element. So we will use ngModule and book.title. Similar way add ngModule for other input. Now add click event for save. So on click of save, we will call SaveBook method. That's it for this file. Later we will add some more changes. Open book component file and SaveBook method. We are not adding any save related logic now, we will add later. For this time let's print book object in the console. See, compiled successfully without any error. Let's open in browser. Let's refresh the page. Now open Chrome Inspect. Click on Console tab. Now let's fill all the input with some value, then we will click on Save. See, it's printing book object. I hope you understood clearly whatever we added till now. Now let's add a reset button to clear all of those values. That's it. Let's try to clear all the values. See, it's working. Now let's add some validation for all the input field. So first let's add a required attribute for all input. Now let's see how to show if the user has not filled the required field. In this case, it should show a message like a book title is required, but it should not show always, so add some condition. Here we are adding two scenarios: if the input field has attribute required and if input field touched, and without entering any value user try to navigate to some other input then show this message. But before a check, we need to add some more logic. See, this is also similar the way we added for form. Let's check title validation is happening or not. See, it's working. And error is also clearing when I click on reset. Now let's add min length validation also. Add min length message. See, it's very simple to achieve. Let's check. See, both the validation is working as per the expectation. Now let's add similar validation for all the input fields. Add error messages also for all. That's it. Let's check all validation are working or not. See, it's working as per the expectation. Now let's modify some Bootstrap related classes. So instead of light, let's change it to dark. See, header we modified from light to dark. Let's change book icon. This one is looking good. Add similar icon at tab also. See, it's looking good. Now change the brand name from Book REST API to Bookshop. Now let's add a dark class for form also. See, form change it to dark. Add similar for book a table also. See, both looking good. Change this book to books. See, everything is perfect. Let's review whatever we added. Now let's add one more validation, like if any of the text boxes are empty, then Save button should be disabled. That's it. Let's test. See, now it's disabled. Enter all the values. See, it's enable. Let's inspect again. See, book object is showing. I checked in my change. I will show from where you can find these changes. Open our GitHub page. See, here is the latest commit. Let's open the link. See, here are the changes. That's it for this video.
Please like and share this video. Subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.